Hey everybody, welcome. Hey, look, I know. Look, first of all, infinite regression, just looking at it makes you sad. Secondly, I know I've done a lot of Islandcraft lately, but there are two things that I want to get done, um, and then, I'll be good to go. Good to go. But yeah, let's be quick about it. Let me crank my nonsense. Let me turn that away. Let me pull up the theme song and let's do it. Wait, whoa, you pulling it up from the middle of the dingus song, you dingus. Dude.
Cha.
Friggin' out of tuners. I'm telling you, they drive me crazy sometimes. All right. Okay. Here's the deal. Wait, where am I? Here I am. Okay. Ra. Um. Oh. I need to go down here. No reason. Don't even worry about it. Like, don't even worry about what I'm doing down here. Um. Just don't do it. Don't. Okay. Hold up. Okay. It's back time. Okay. So yeah, reasons and porpoises and reasons, causes and things, and such nuts and whatnots. We're gonna go. We're gonna fight. We're gonna win. That's one of my favorite all-time cheers for cheerleaders to be doing. We're going to do three things. First of all, we have to go. If we don't go to the game, we cannot fight once we're there. We need to fight once we're there, obviously. I mean, foreshadowing. We told you what we were going to do when we were going to get there. But I think that if mayhap we bring the fight to the opponent, that we may come off conqueror. We may vanquish the foe, we may win. So, therefore, if I may be succinct, if I may say it in a short, easy to remember phrase, go, fight, win. The three things that we need to do. It's my 3-step plan for victory. Anyway, I mean, honestly, it makes one wonder what the Bush administration was thinking when they were like, "Hey, we're gonna get embroiled in 2 wars in the Middle East," and everybody must have been like, "Okay, well, what's your plan?" And they're like, "We're gonna go," and then everybody's like, "Oh, they must know about the fighting and the winning." They did not know about the fighting and the winning. They just knew about the going and the staying there for decades. Anyway, you gotta go, you gotta fight, you gotta win. It's part of a system. Bush administration, come on. You should know this. It's part of being an American. It's on the citizenship test. I mean, it's easy. I learned it in civics. And if we taught civics, well, we wouldn't have the kind of problems that we have in this country. I tell you what, boy, we don't teach civics. And we do. We do teach civics, by the way, in case anybody's like, well, why don't we teach civics no more in this country? We do. We legitimately do. It's not called the same class. It's called government and economics, which is they have to pass the state mandated civics exam in order to graduate. So yeah, it's the same frick class, but you're like, but they don't call it civics, so they don't teach civics in school anymore, and this country's gone down a turlet, and it is never going to be great again until Donald Trump comes in riding a dinosaur, and JFK is his running mate, and they both take us back to the times, to the family values of the prehistoric times. I'm talking about Flintstone family values. That's right. And, Biden being all crazy trying to mandate vaccines, I tell you what, we'd be better off mandating Flintstone vitamins. Flintstone vitamins, only thing you need. Only thing you need. Anyway, I'm starting to sound like a very, I don't know, like jazzed up Bill de la Tour d'Autrive. Anyway, but yeah, America. Remember when we used to go and then fight and then win? We haven't done that in a while. Have not done that in a while. Okay. Anyway, also, here's the thing I've been thinking about cheerleading because, I have a lot of students who are in cheer and they are delightful. Like, honestly, I don't see the same kind of nonsense that used to go on in cheer when I was in high school. When I was in high school, like cheerleading was much more like cheerleading in a John Hughes movie, where it just automatically made you a certain type of person. Like if you were a cheerleader, then you were blonde and you got around, like there are just certain assumptions that are absolutely correct about cheerleaders if you are a John Hughes movie type cheerleader. Anyway, so yeah, and the cheerleaders that I knew in high school were a lot more like that. Like, I mean, some of them were nice. Like some of them, like I can think of two specifically who were like nice people, but were also cheerleaders. And then like there were a couple of others who were not so much the nice and were like really really kind of terrible people who were the kind of people that you would expect to see a comeuppance on in the like fourth act of a John Hughes movie. Anyway, it's yeah, that's how things be. Anyway, so there are reasons why I'm playing this. I hope this video is not going to be too long, but there's just an achievement that I want to get, which is why I am not showing my inventory because there's something in there, obviously. You know what would make it easier would be if I just made a chest over here and just put things that I need for like achievables in the chest and then just got to work and like leveled this crap out. How about we do that like a smart person? Okay, hold on, pause. And unpause. There we go. Okay. So, let's get to it. Yeah, things that I want to accomplish in game, and then I'm gonna go into my bedroom where my lovely wife will already be sleeping, and it will make me sad because there's a new season of Big Mouth, and I want to watch it with her. But if she already sleeping, then how are we gonna watch Big Mouth? I'm just so happy that John Mulaney like is putting his life back together. Like, part of me feels like, because when when his life started falling apart, and it resulted in divorce from his wife, at the time, and his wife was like, regular person. I don't remember. I don't I don't think she was in show business. And now, like, John Mulaney is, I believe, like, he's either in a long-term committed relationship or is married to an actress, you know. And like, it's not like I begrudge him the ability to marry someone in show business when he himself is in show business, you know, or that I'm like, oh, he's going Hollywood on us when like he's done stuff in Hollywood. Like, it's just that like I want him to be happy, and I don't know if you feel this way about certain people, but certain people in the world, like Maria Bamford, to choose another comedian, or Patton Oswalt. Like when Patton Oswalt's wife died, I was so worried about him because, like, he really loved his wife, obviously. They had a very happy marriage, and like, it just seemed like, she was such a key part of his life, as wives tend to be. I mean, my God, my wife is so key and integral that, like, anytime I think about the possibility of me not having her, it just makes me too sad, and I can't even function even on that level of like the hypothetical where I'm like, nope, I thought about it and I'm shutting down. It's too much. It's too freaking much. And so like, and Patton Oswalt suffers from depression, and so I was like, oh no, like, because that can take a turn. And like, anyway, obviously he has since remarried and seems to be very happy and doing fine. But like, I mean, as fine as a neurotic person uh, who has, the type of, mental instabilities that make you a stand-up comedian in the first place can have. Um, anyway, so there are just certain people out there that you don't even know, but like you want good things to happen for them. Like um the band Winter Gaton. Like I just really want them to like uh I want the new Marble Machine to be a success, and I want it to be bigger, better than ever. I want it to be super stable. And I want them to be able to go on a world tour and uh bring the world together in the way that they have. Like, it's kind of incredible the way that like an entire movement of super positivity has congealed around the uh the folly of one Swedish man who's like, what if we made music by dropping marbles? And it's like, it's not even a very realistic idea, and yet he's done it once, you know, and is trying to do it in a much more replicatable, take it on world tour kind of way, and like is enlisting the help of an entire community of people, all of whom are so willing to help because they believe in the power of his dream. And like, with every misstep along the way in the design and fabrication process of the new Marble Machine, like those of us who are following it, our heart just aches. We're like, oh my God, come on. I believe in you. I believe in the power of this, like this thing that should not even be, you know. Um, we shouldn't be worrying about the logistics of, can we make music by dropping marbles onto things. Like, we need to be worrying about making sure we can get everybody vaccinated, and worrying about, this, that, or the other. And yet, like, it is so very life affirming to see this one man accomplish any small piece of his dream, you know? And so I just, every time there's a new video, I'm like, I wish you well. Like, I want this to go well for you. I'm pulling for you. This, you have my every hope going with you, you know? Like, I don't know how many people you feel that way about, that are people that you've never met, that you're like, I just want it to go well for you, you know? And it's funny because sometimes, like, I was talking to one of my students today. Well, actually, she's not even one of my students. She's in one of my, no, she's in two of my clubs. She's in both of my clubs. No, she's only in one, because the other one, she chose to be in my wife's art club instead. Um, so yeah, which is totally fine, absolutely fine. Um, because there are people who were going to choose my wife's art club, but then chose my club. It's vice versa. Like, we have a lot of overlap in our demographics. Anyway, so yeah, talking with this student who, like, has a crush on another student, that I'm like, oh my god, I don't know of anyone ever having a crush on this student that, like, is such a good person and that I just really think the world of. And I'm like, yes, yes, like, please let this work out. Not because I'm, you know, we're, as we're reading Romeo and Juliet in my freshman class, it's brought to mind, like, Shakespeare's made reference, Romeo, when they are going to the masquerade, and there's the whole part about, like, you have dancing shoes with nimble soles, but I have a soul of lead. I'll carry the torch. I am heavy, so let me bear the light. That kind of nonsense that Romeo is doing, and everyone is just being like, "Oh my God, Romeo, you're such a drag emo boy." It's true. Romeo is like the first recorded emo boy, and he is so freaking emo. He's like so much mascara. Anyway, uh, but like, anyway, um, he makes reference. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna be like the old people, because, like, the older people have such an interest in seeing the younger people fall in love and then get married, because, like, well, it's never gonna happen for them again. They've already done it, and so, like, that part of their life is over. So they have, and this is before television and whatnot. So, like, this is their soap operas. These are their stories, is like the actual lives of actual people. And they're like, yeah, get with her, do it. You won't. Uh, and then try to make that a reality. Like, that's how they live in. And oh my God, I got all of these that are okay. Anyway, but yeah, I'm just saying, like, um okay. But you know how it is. Like, there's just some people in the world that are good people, and that, like, when any good thing it comes knocking on their door, you are excited for them. You're like, "Oh my God, yes. Yes, good things for you in your life. Like, absolutely good things." Like, wait, frick. I need I need a pickaxe. Boom. Um and if you don't do that, start doing that. Like, honestly, I mean, we all wish good things for ourselves in our lives. Like, that's all fine and dandy, but, like, who are the people that you wish good things for when, like, obviously, like, if you're a parent, it's your children are like, yes, I wish good things for my children. Who doesn't? I'm talking about, like, find you people that, like, you don't necessarily have a dog in their fight, but, like, you wish them well because you just see that they are quality persons who, oh, Rent, someone commented on my video. I'm blowing up in this piece. Blowing up. Because Von.rent, like, that means that's Russian for I love it. Keep doing this. It's very good. Okay, hold on. I'm going to make this notification go away. Because they don't go away on their own, do they? Anyway, not quick enough. So yeah, like, very excited for some people and hoping good things happen in their life. And that's just how it should be. Like, that's healthy. That's healthy for you, caring about other people and just being like, "Hey, other people, I see you and like I value you as a human being and think that your life has meaning and purpose and should be, um the sort of thing that I get to cheer for. Cuz if not, then what? You know? If we're not doing that for each other, then what? Oh my God. Wandering traitor, I can't believe I get to kill you. Yes, leather. I got 3 leather out of that deal. Sweet. This is the only way I'm going to make books when that fool shows up. Like either that or if I find cows. Anyway, there's still hope that I'll find cows. Somewhere out there, there might be some cows. Anyway, but yeah, like, honestly, take up rooting for other human beings as a pastime. Not, in replacement of you doing anything positive with your own life. Like, definitely do positive things with your own life. 100%. Like, if you're not doing positive things for yourself, if you're not engaging in self-care, then you are not doing life right. Like, self-care is so important. And I didn't learn that till I was legitimately 40 years old. So don't make that mistake. Just learn while you are younger. Self-care is friggin' important, and you gotta do it. And it really makes a difference in life. Like, why would you want to live a life that is not a pleasure to live? That is not like, because think about it. You've got only so much time in the sun. There's just only so many hours that you are going to be living and breathing. And, this is some Heidegger business. This is some being towards death, but we're going to try not to make it too heavy. But, like, you really do. You have time here, and just consider yourself so freaking lucky to exist in the first place. Like, let's start there. Existing, really? You get to exist? Do you know how many people didn't even get to do that? Like, most of the people never got to exist in the first place. Like, I know that sounds like a fishy fact. Like, that sounds like the kind of thing that is paradoxical. It can't possibly be true, but then you look at it closer and you're like, oh no, actually, the math checks out. Like, most people didn't get to exist. Is true. So the odds were against you to begin with. That much is absolutely factual. Hold up. Okay, we're getting back to it. What? Oh, I thought it would be below the horizon by now. Anyway. Duh. Oh, that's right. That's not the horizon. That's an island. Anyway, there we go. We're doing it. Hooray! We did it. Okay. So, yeah. Like, there are just some people in this world. Okay, this is this one girl who has been in my drama classes before. She is not currently in my drama classes, which makes me sad, but she will be again next semester. And I have missed that girl so much because she is a ray of freaking sunshine. Like, she is just a delight to be around. And everybody knows it except for, like, somehow the boys at this freaking school have not figured out that, like, oh, who should you be after? How about the one girl who makes everybody's life better just because she's around? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous. Because she, like, is that great at, like, lifting up other people and making them feel wonderful about themselves. You know, it's funny because one of my Bronc time students, one of my homeroom students, started hanging out with her just, over the last year and a half, and is like, oh my God, she's like the best person ever. And I'm like, yeah, you don't have to tell me that. Like, I freaking know. I'm already sold on that idea because, like, I have such a hard time bringing positivity as it is, you know? Like, because of all my anxiety and depression and whatnot, like, I don't bring a lot of positive energy into the room. I've told this story many times, but, like, when I went in to get diagnosed for anxiety and depression, the doctor was like, so you think you have depression, huh? And I was like, yeah, I might. And he's like, well, I think you do. I'm like, wow, doc, that's quick. You think I have depression? He's like, well, you're not lighting up the freaking room, are you? Uh, he's a very old, crotchety doctor. He's like Ted Danson's character in Becker, only he probably doesn't, get with as many attractive young ladies. Or maybe he does. I don't know. Like, he brings, like, serious, like, I'm the doctor in the room energy. So, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to tell him how to live. Um, anyway, people. So, yeah, like, sometimes they're just people, like, and okay, this girl who makes life better for everybody, like, I've noticed, and I've been around a lot of different kinds of people all through my life, and I've noticed that a lot of times these people who, like, bring nothing but positive vibes everywhere they go, the reason why they do that is because, like, there are two ways that you get to be that kind of person. Either, number one, your life really is so hashtag blessed that, like, you can't help but, like, spread the joy with everybody you meet. Those people are freaking rare, unless you, I don't know, maybe rich people are like that. No, I think rich people think they're like that, but you actually find a lot of, like, entitled people who are like, no, I'm not into making your life better, I'm into making my life better. um is what it feels like. I could be wrong. I don't hang with a lot of rich people. I'm a teacher. We've talked about this. Anyway, hold up. But yeah, like, so one way that you get to be that kind of person is if your life is so fantastically wonderful that you just, like, vibrate with positive energies because that's all you've experienced in life, which is so rare. I mean, come on. Do you know people like that? But do you, though? But do you? Oh. Anyway, the other type of people who bring the joy and happiness with them wherever they go are people who have experienced such ridiculous trauma in their lives that they've realized that, like, if they don't bring the happiness all the time, ain't nobody gonna do it. It's people whose, parents were not stable, and so they had to be the stability that their parents should have been. Those people, that's who I'm talking about. And so this girl, like, I know that she's been through some trauma, and I don't know the full extent of it, but I have occasional glimpses and insights, and, like, yeah, that's who she is. And it makes it all the more remarkable that these people are able to do it. Like, I haven't had those kind of trials and tribulations in my life, and yet I have turned out to be one of the most like sour, pessimistic, ridiculous people you're ever gonna meet. Basically, Ambrose Bierce. You know what I'm saying? Bitter Bierce. Um, that's what his friends called him, Bitter Bierce. They're like, this fool is bitter. Like, this guy does not bring the happiness. Like, he's just bringing everybody down. You know, Ambrose Bierce, he wrote a book called The Devil's Dictionary, where, like, it's definitions of words, but, like, every definition is so sarcastic and biting and like satirical, but also like very, very mean spirited. Like there's just this current of mean spiritedness that runs through Ambrose Bierce's works, and one cannot avoid it. It is very evident. So yeah. Anyway, hold up. I'll pull up some beers. Give me just 1 second. Okay, yeah. Check some of these out. These are like fantastic. Abdication, noun, an act whereby a sovereign attests his sense of the high temperature of the throne. I mean, right? Uh, Admiration, noun, our polite recognition of another's resemblance to ourselves. Ho ho. Advice, the smallest current coin. Applause, the echo of a platitude. I mean, some of these, let's see. Oh, let's read the one for Christian. Noun, one who believes that the New Testament is a divinely inspired book admirably suited to the spiritual needs of his neighbor. One who follows the teachings of Christ insofar as they are not inconsistent with a life of sin. Oh my God. You see? You see what this dude brings to the table? Oh, consul. In American politics, a person who, having failed to secure an office from the people, is given one by the administration on condition that he leave the country. Oh my God. Like, holy Moses. Like, some of these are so. Oh, I want to see what he says about an elegy. A composition in verse in which, without employing any kind of the methods of humor, the writer aims to produce in the reader's mind the dampest kind of dejection. That's so bitter. It's so delightfully bitter. Oh, litigation. Noun, a machine which you go into as a pig and come out of as a sausage. Mayonnaise, one of the sauces which serve the French in place of a state religion. Oh my God, you see this dude? Do you see this guy? I'm telling you, bitter beers, like the Devil's Dictionary. You can buy it on Amazon for like just a couple of bucks, and it is delightful. Like absolutely delightful. If you're the kind of person who enjoys like a snappy, sarcastic wit, then yeah, you could certainly do much worse. It holds up to this day. It is very, very hilarious. I love me some bitter beers. But yeah, that's I bring all the bitterness of beers without any of the insight. All of the bitterness, none of that heavy, like all of the form, but none of the function. Anyway, hold up. Anyway, it's kind of fun when you get to be that age where you start to realize that your English teachers were 100% on point. Like, I think it was Mrs. Collins who introduced us to Ambrose Bierce. And it was during a time when, like, she had all these packets and we could choose to focus on whichever poets we wanted. And, like, Mrs. Collins was absolutely obsessive about the 1960s sort of hippie poet, the one of the few bridges forming the gap between the Beats and the hippies. And so yeah, like Richard Brodigan was her dude, and she was in love with Richard Brodigan. Like loved the man so much and loved his works. And would just go on and on and on, and we'd be sitting there and we'd be like, I don't freaking care about Richard Brodigan at all. And then like, the fun part where you get to be an adult and you realize like, oh my god, Richard Brodigan is actually kind of cool though. Like he's like, I don't know about everything he ever wrote, but I've read, a handful of his best verses, and they are 100% on point and fun to discuss in class. So, like, there's that too. Which means, and this is once again the English teacher's curse. Like, the more the English teacher likes the thing that they are teaching, the less likely it is that the students will like it. That's just, curse of the English teacher. Like, oh, you like this? Is why I will never teach the greatest book ever written. I will never teach it in my classes ever. What's the greatest book ever written, you say? Obviously, it's Candide by Voltaire. And if you haven't read it, hear me out. This is why it is the most amazing thing ever written. So, uh, in the days of Voltaire, there was a philosopher whose name was Leibniz, and he created this philosophy that was basically like part of his philosophy about the nature of the world was that it was as good as it could possibly be. Because if it could have been better, then God, being a perfect being, would have made it better. But because God, being a perfect being, didn't make it better, it means that this is the best possible world for mortals such as ourselves. Not saying that it is, better than heaven itself, but it is the best possible world on which mortals like ourselves can live. And of course, Voltaire sees this idea and he's like, this is the dumbest freaking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And so I'm going to write a novella in which the characters in the book just have the worst things keep happening to them again and again and again to hilarious effect, like just so funny. My God. And look, I swear to God, Candide is a book that I've read, I don't know how many times. I can't even tell you how many times. And yet, like, every time I read it, I'm like, I can't possibly laugh out loud at this book again because, like, I've read it too many times. It can't still hold the ability to make me LOL. There's no way that I can be LOLing at this book, so many hundred years after it was written, and after so many readings of the book and knowing exactly what's coming every single time, like oh, it's the Pope's daughter, and like and you're supposed to be like, wait a minute, and like there's so much religious hypocrisy written into the book, the very hilariously critical of so many things in Voltaire's time, some of which, like, even if you were not alive in Voltaire's time, I don't know if you were. I don't know if you were alive in Voltaire's time or not. Like, that's your business. Like, were you around in the 1700s? Was that you? Were you there? Anyway, If you were, that's none of my business. It's up to you to be there during Voltaire's time or not. Or not. You don't have to be. You can. You can also not. It's whatever. Anyway, so boop ba doop ba doop. Boop ba doop ba doop. Uh, so yeah, like some of the things you kind of have to have an insight into the history of the time period in which Voltaire lived, and some insights into Leibniz's philosophy. But some of it, you like a lot of the most funny stuff, you can just be like, oh my god, they made a human rump roast out of her. Holy crap, that's hilarious in the darkest possible way. It is so good. So good. Um and I will never ever teach that book to my students. They can go kick rocks as far as I'm concerned if it comes to the teaching of that book, because like I just got done teaching Gilgamesh recently, and Gilgamesh is such a great book. And my students, like some of them really got into it and were like, "Yeah, I totally get it," because they're honors students, and then others of them didn't even pay the frick attention when we were reading it, and so technically haven't even read it, but now need to write a paper on it. I look forward to reading those papers, by the way. Oh boy. Those are going to be awesome. The papers written by the people who didn't even read the book. Yeah, that's going to work out. Anyway. So yeah. I can bear it with Gilgamesh. I can bear people sitting there and being like, "No, I don't even want to read this." Okay, fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It's Gilgamesh. But like if we were to read Candide and people were to be like, "Oh, this isn't even that funny," I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Like, or it would turn into a situation where I'm just like giggling to myself, and like a schoolgirl, and then all of the actual schoolgirls are looking at me like, "The frick is your problem?" You know, I can't bear that. That's not a thing that you can ask me to just take on and be okay with. So, nah. Anyway. Okay. Do I have no, I don't. Okay. Give me a sec. Anyway, you know. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, here's my train of thought. I can backtrack. I can't always backtrack my trains of thought. Sometimes they just are a lineup of massive derailments, you know, each with their own disgusting clump of fatalities in the idea department. Yeah, my apologies when that is the case, and it very, very often is. Anyway, so I could trace it back. I was talking about, people that you wish well for. And I was talking about, that one girl who just brings the sunshine everywhere she goes, because she's like the best person to have around, because she's like relentlessly happy and like cheerful and wonderful, and like obviously happiness is a choice, and it's something that you have to exercise. I just don't know how. In a lot of ways, you know I'm getting older, and I can't always make myself happy, and that's unfortunate, but it's true, being honest with the situation. But like there are things that I do that I know have a tendency to bend me in that direction, and spending time with people who bring the happy, that is a good way to do it. Like, you know, borrowing light from those who already have it. Like, because if you can be someone else's freaking happiness Prometheus, then by all means, you do not know. Like, if you are bringing happiness for other people, you do not know how incredibly, incredibly valuable you are. Um, but you are, you just are. Is true, and like all those of us who rely on you and the things that you bring on a regular basis, like, we know, you might not know, but we know, because like we can't do it without you. Like, we really can't. We're not that high functioning. um and so, like, it's funny when you are a grown man and you are like, oh, hello, teenage girl who like can change the makeup of my day just by being so relentlessly optimistic and happy. um and so it is these people for whom you wish nothing but good things. You're like, my God, you're going to be graduating soon. I just want your life to be a never ending bonanza of greatness. Like, I just, I want everyone out there to see in you what I see in you, and for them to just uh, give you what I think you deserve all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's how I feel about those kind of people. And the one that I'm thinking of, she's not the only one. There are students, like, my God, I have a student who is on her third foster situation this semester. We're in the first semester of the school year, and she's already in her like third foster living arrangement, and like, it has been rough for her in so many freaking ways. And yet, like, she brings the positivity and the happiness and the joy so much that, like, people are just relentlessly nonstop, like, hey girl, how you doing? Like, everybody wants to date this girl. I mean, partially because she's cute as a button. That much is factually accurate. But partially because she is like just such a good person who like does so much for all the other people in her life, and brings such boundless positivity, and like is such a lifter and a builder. you know um Back in the day, when I was a teenager, before I had status, before I had a pager, no, but back in the day, I used to be in bands. I used to play bass in a band because exactly. And the guy who taught me how to play bass, who got me started in bands, this guy named Dave, and I really like Dave. Good dude, amazing dude. He had his own mental problems that, like, how like some of the greatest songwriters out there and the greatest musical geniuses are people who like have look at Brian Wilson. Like, there is absolutely, and not just Brian Wilson, but like there is a fantastic book that, if you ever want to learn about the history of classical music in a way that's like very lighthearted but also factually accurate, like, hilarious book. It was the book that my older brother was most likely to be seen with. He always, like, my older brother never went anywhere without a small stack of books, and the book that he was most likely to be seen with was this one called Bach, Beethoven, and the Boys. And this is a hilarious take on the history of classical music. And they do a number of, hilarious, like, oh my God, you won't believe, what this guy's life was like, and taking these, oftentimes very tragic circumstances, but taking a very lighthearted approach to it, because there is that high correlation between mental illness and creativity in general, but also, artistic genius and mental illness are, the best of friends. And anyway, so this guy, Dave, that I was in bands with, he had a number of mental health issues, which, like, he eventually, like, now he's a married man, and his wife has similar mental health struggles. Um, and, like, they just are there for each other in all the ways, and they have kids, and they're very happy, and, like, you know just a beautiful couple living life, and all the best to them. But anyway, so Dave, what he told me was, one time we were just talking about life like you do after you're done practicing in the band, and he's telling me, he's like, hey, look, there are two types of people in this world. There are builders and there are destroyers. There are people who, when they see someone else, someone that they like, someone that they're interested in, and when I say like, it's an interesting thing. It's the same kind of like that you have when you're a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that as a male teacher, it's really easier for people to, like, misconstrue the way that I talk about my female students sometimes. Like, it is very avuncular. It is very, like, you know, um, I see myself as like an older relative in their life. That's kind of how I feel about it. And when you're the older relative of someone, like, you can, like, for example, um my brother and sister-in-law were here, and they brought one of my nieces with them, and, like, this niece is so freaking cute. She's just adorable, and, like, yes, of course, if I were a young man, uh and were not related to this girl, would I be able to look at her and be like, oh my God, she's hot? Yeah, probably. But, like, you reach a certain age and you realize, like, uh, it ain't all objectification, dingus. Like, sometimes you can just be like, you know, well, aren't you cute? And have there be no, like, weird creeper component to it at all. If you can believe it. Some people can't believe it, and that makes me sad. But yeah, like, also, here's the other thing, is that, like, okay, the original person that I started talking about when I originally started going on this tear, we were talking about LGBTQ um people who, like, it's interesting because when you're, like, kind of gender fluid but also kind of lesbian, is, like, somewhere in there where, like, because people are still figuring things out, you know so the terminology gets a little weird. But here's the thing that I find very unfortunate is that, like, I had a student come up to me the other day, and this is a girl who is a freshman, because I we have them reporting to us, because, like, admin was like, wait, you guys want to do in your GSA, you want to do a poster campaign against using the F slur. You don't know what the F slur is. you actually do. You just don't call it that. Like, because you're straight, and so it doesn't affect you if you know. Anyway, regardless. Um, but yeah, the F slur is a problem, and so we're tracking that, and we're tracking like, you know, the just the general way in which our LGBTQ students are bullied on campus. Like our entire reason for existing is to make the lives of our LGBTQ students better. That's why have a GSA otherwise. But yeah, so like this girl, she's a freshman. She has a boyfriend. She identifies as bi, but she has a boyfriend. Very common scenario. And like, she was telling me that the same boys who are like, F slurring the other kids in my GSA went up to her, and she's very pretty and like just a really good person, really kind-hearted, really nice. I just just yet another person for whom I wish good things. She is the little sister of a kid who was in one of my English classes way back when, who like, he wasn't the best student, but when he got excited about something, he really got into it. Like, so some of the readings that we did, he really got into, and his girlfriend really, really got into a lot of those things. And I wrote her a letter of recommendation. She is going to be an English teacher when she grows up. And so the cycle continues. So anyway, so this girl, like, when I realized, like, I already liked her uh, because she's a freshman who takes drama, and freshmen who take drama are like a special kind of awesome. They just are, you know? And so I'm already predisposed to like this girl. But then also she joins the GSA, and she's also in my strategy gaming club, and she's just in all my things, and is like a really awesome person that I'm very excited to have in my programs for the next 4 years. You know, uh, my wife and I are so excited about this crop of freshmen because there's so many kids that were like, and this one's awesome. And we're like, I know. And this one's awesome. I know. And all these awesome ones are friends with each other. And it's like, is going to be just a nonstop parade of awesome for the next 4 years. Like, we could not be more excited about what the next 4 years has in store for us with these kids. And like, the thing is, like, I wish people could understand what it's like to be a teacher, to be that teacher that the kid needs, because when you're a drama teacher, like, I needed Mrs. Willis in my life. Like, I needed my drama teacher in high school. Like, I would not be the person I am today without that woman. That is fact, and I did get to thank her for it, and I did get to, like, when I was in college, I I came back because the choir that I was in, we would go on tour, which was like partially because we were freaking awesome, and when we would go on tour, people would come out to see us because we were that good. Number one, but number two, like, it was also a recruitment drive because we would go around to all these schools in the state of Arizona and go into their choir departments and their band departments and stuff, and just be like, hey, you kids want to go to a school that has a really strong fine arts department, a school that has now twice gotten rid of its football team but kept its choirs. You know what I'm saying? Like a school that really prioritizes the fine arts above everything else. What? Why? Why are you like this? Anyway, so yeah, that is how we did. And so like we went to my old high school. And so we are, warming up and stuff in my old auditorium, in my like on my stage where I lived out some of the, most glorious glory days of my life. And my old drama teacher's classroom is right there, like on the back side of the green room. Like it's her classroom, and then around back is the green room, the boys and girls, um, yeah, boys and girls changing rooms, green room, and then the back doors to the stage. It's all right there. Like a fine arts building. Um, Anyway, I wish I had a school with a fine arts building instead of a school with like two teachers who form the entire fine arts department and, barely have a building at all. Like we just have a cafetorium, we just have a multi purpose kind of a deal where it's like, ugh. When it's multi purpose, that means that um, that you honestly view the fine arts as like, let's tack it on to something else, you know, like not important enough to be its own thing. Anyway, regardless, I could go on and on about that. But like, yeah, I got to thank my drama teacher and be like, thank you so much for being the person that I needed when I needed you. Like you changed my life. And she's like, aw shucks, I'm just a teacher doing what teachers do. And it's like, I know that. Like I get that, but you were the right teacher at the right time. And I get to be that teacher for some kids, and that is a special friggin' thing. It is why, as a matter of fact, when like, because I had a discussion with my brother, who, as we have well established by now, was a Catholic priest. My older brother. I had a discussion, a very frank and open discussion with him on the subject of, sexual abuse within the Catholic Church. And he's like, yeah, these priests absolutely need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I'm like, yeah, they do. And that's the right attitude to have. Like, you need to, not be wanting to hide behind, like, well, the Catholic Church kind of has its own law and we sort of handle things by ourselves, internally. Like, you need to not hide behind that kind of nonsense and be like, this person committed a crime that is so egregious that we will offer no protection to them whatsoever. Take him, lock him away, do with him what you must, lose the key if you have to. We fully support you. And then pay back every charitable offering ever donated by the family of the victim. Like, if they paid anything in tithes to your church, refund the full amount. And I'm not kidding. Like, and that's just to start. That's just to start. Because you do that to a kid, it is such a deep betrayal of what your relationship should be. And that's what I feel. And so, like, I know that this is going to feel like a bit of like, he doth protest too much, methinks. But it is so upsetting when you read about people who violate the sanctity of that trust that you have, that teachers can have. But you violate that trust and you have done the ultimate harm, the ultimate damage. You've done the worst bad that you could have done. Um, and there is no defense for that. And people who, people who are given the ability to work with children, um, those of us who do it, a lot of people don't understand why we would even want to, because like, oh my god, why would you want to step into a room full of 30 teenagers and attempt to teach them anything? Say a lot of people who find out that I'm a teacher. Like, you would not believe the number of people who are like, oh, what do you do for a living? And you're like, oh, I'm a teacher. And they'd be like, I'm sorry. you know it's like, oh geez, like, and the funny thing is that even within the teaching profession, those who teach um uh those who teach elementary, look at those of us who teach high school, boom, flattened. Look at those of us who teach high school and are like, I could never. And those of us who teach high school, look at elementary, we're like, I could never. Just vice versa, back and forth. We're like, I wouldn't do your version of this. And they'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't do your version either. Uh, but we also understand, and it's really cool to see. Hold up. Okay, now it's time to go and achieve the achievement that I've been waiting to do this whole time. But yeah, like when you are the person who gets to be, when I do not take for granted the fact that I get to be Mrs. Willis to my drama students. I do not take that for granted. And my drama students know Mrs. Willis's name because I have mentioned her on many occasions. They know that I myself had a drama teacher about whom I care a whole lot. And oh, see, my chickens are still here from when I dug out this island. I should probably replace this island. At least bring it back up to level. Anyway, regardless, we're gonna just walk backwards for no reason. No reason at all. Anyway, so ah, very ridiculous walking backwards. I'm gonna fall off the edge at some point. I just don't want to spoil the surprise of how surprised I was, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, cool," sort of. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna be as surprised as I was or as excited, but whatever. Like, something in life brought me joy. Don't crush it, dingus. Um, do you know how hard it is for me to get any amount of joy whatsoever? No, that's wait. Stop pushing S, stupid, and start pushing W and get back on the platform, idiot. Anyway, man, this is a lot farther than I thought it was. Okay, there's the end. Okay. Okay. Boop. Badoop. Yep, we're doing the old boop badoop. Badoop, badoop, badoop. Anyway, I'm so glad my wife taught me how to, crouch and go backwards and not fall off the edge of everything. It's so very helpful. Minecraft tips: don't fall off everything all the time. Anyway, but yeah, I wish that the average person could know what it's like to be a teacher, because it's a lot like what I imagine being a grandparent is like, where you're like, okay, this isn't my child, but I am very excited about this child. You know, like, I think it's like that. I think that's the closest thing that I can think of what it's like. Because, you really do get very excited about these kids when they're awesome. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe how awesome you are. And, some of them are just so great that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that I get paid to like be a part of your life. That's amazing and crazy. Wait, what? I'm basically here, but let's finish up the bridge. Okay. Boop a doop a doop. Let's just walk with our head down. Just walking with our head down on this island. Oh, chickens. Yep, chickens. That's the only reason that we came to this island. Just chickens. Only chickens. That's all we care about. Oh, and what's this? Horses. Right? Horses. Horsies. And I haven't even seen these other islands. They might have cows and stuff. Who knows? Who knows what mysteries lie in the great beneath? But horses, people. Okay, which one? You have an interesting black pattern. I think I'm going to need to be your friend. This is going to make my life so much better. Get tame, dude. There we go. E. Guess what? Saddle up, partner. Yeah. Look at this. Look at what my life is now. Yes. This is so much faster and so much better. Ugh. Like, I don't have the wherewithal to build rail from here to there. But like, look at how fast my friend is going. Oh, I hope I have name tags. Need to name this horse. Yay. Oh, the cavernous cavern. Sorry, chickens. I'm going to build you a little chicken island that you can chicken it up on. And oh, wait. What? Okay. Yes. Horsey, you are the very best, dude. Like, do you even understand how magnificent you are? Oh, for real. Horse achieved. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, horsey. God, that's majestic. Oh, love my horsey. Anyway, roam free. You can't go that far. It's an island. My goodness. My horsey. Don't fall in pits and stuff. Anyway, ladies and gents, that's all I wanted to do for this one. Let me just finish my thought and then we'll move on with our lives and with our everything else. Like, it is a special relationship that you have when you're a teacher. And it is something that's, kind of hard to define and hard to, explain what it feels like. And that's why when you are a male teacher and you are talking about female students, especially ones that are like super cute and stuff, which some of them are, like some of them are so freaking cute. But like, you don't see that as like in the sense that you would have seen it as a young man who is looking for what young men look for. You know what I'm saying? You don't see them in that way. Not at all. How you see them is, like a relative who is like, oh my God, look at you growing up and doing things and being who you are, and man, I hope life is good for you. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's what it's like. And and so for so many of these kids who are just so amazing and incredible and so fun to be around and so great to have them as part of your life, that's what makes any of it worth it. You know, that is the real pay that the teachers get, because God knows we don't get enough of the other kind. I can't tell if it's dark ish. Come on. Anyway, but yeah, like that's what it's like. And so, oh, it is starting to get oxidized. Okay, okay. Um anyway, so my there we go. My student who, like, I've never known anyone to be interested in her romantically, has someone who is interested in her romantically, and the person who is interested in her is one of these people that we're like, oh my god, we're so excited to have you around for the next 4 years, and so, like, we're very excited about the concept of her having, like, oh, I'm gonna go visit that other island where the sheepies were. Oh my god, Horsey, you are just magnificent. Okay. Oh, I need to dismount because I need to build up this so that we can actually get off the island. Oh, jeez. Anyway, there we go. Don't wander too far, Horsey McGee. Maybe that's gonna be your name, Horsey McGee. Well, Horsey McGee was a fine horse, one of the best horses ever in the entire world. His owner, a certain Rem Pemberton, chose him from among 3 other horses of good pedigree, but when he saw Horsey McGee, he said, that's the one for me. Anyway, it's true, that is what I said. You can rewind the tape and you could be like, oh my god, he legitimately 100% said that's the horse for me. So many flowers and stuff. Why the frick would there be jobbies here? Like, what is this? The Walking Dead? Hello, chicken. Yeah, I took all the sheepies. Oh, that's right. I put a fence post there so that I could hitch up the sheep that I had started taking, and start focusing on getting the others. Oh my god, there's no sheep left. I completely obliterated the sheep population of this island. I feel bad for that, but on the other hand, now I have sheep and I feed them. I care for them. When I feed them, they make babies, and so I try not to feed them too much because, like, I only have so much pen space. But whatever. Don't judge me. You're gonna judge me. Find out fingers pointing back at yourself. Anyway. All right, we're gonna go back to the home island. I just wondered if any other friendly mobs were spawning over here, because this is where we had, both chickens and sheepies earlier, but now it's just chickens left because I took all the sheep. Sorry, dude. Oh, so majestic. You're a majestic creature. Did you know that? Did you know how majestic you are? I'm gonna take you home and feed you apples and stuff. Look at me go. Look at us go, Horsey McGee. I think you are my favorite horse I've ever had in Minecraft because of just what it means to have a horse in this archipelago, this series of islands, this island chain. Okay. I'm seriously going to go down and see. Well, I might have apples here. Hold up. Let me go see if I have apples. Meh. Apples. There we go. I'll feed you apples. Because, like, you're a good horsey. Apples? Do you eat... I forget what horses eat. Do they eat carrots? Is that what horses eat? Or is it hay? I'm going to get... It's definitely not potatoes. I can tell you that much. Plant that back. Get some of this. And plant some of that back. That's entirely too many seeds for how many wheats I picked up. Anyway. I know pigs like carrots. I know about horsies. Horsey, you like carrots? No, I'm trying to give you a carrot. That was terrifying. Okay. What about alternately? Oh, he did eat it. Good for him. Good for you. Thanks, horsey. I'm gonna go look for a name tag and then then we'll quit. Cuz I'm gonna go see my wife, see how she doing. She probably sleeping. We're never gonna get to watch the new season of Big Mouth. Very excited about it though, and I'm wishing good things for John Mulaney. That's full circle. That's where we started. Wishing good things in the lives of people you don't even know. And then there are some people where I wish them good things in their life, and I do know them. Oh, name tag. Here we go. Oh, wait. I need an anvil to put the name on it, and then I don't have an anvil yet. Okay. Well, at least I have a name tag. At least there's that. Anyway, ladies and gents, I'm just going to end it down here because I like it down here. I don't spend enough time down here. You know what I'm saying? Like, the funny thing about video games is that, like, it is, in video games, is the exact opposite of your life. Because if you're playing video games, then you're not out doing things. You're just, sitting down passively playing video games. And, but like inside the world of the game, you never have the patience to just sit inside your house and be like, I am grateful for this house I have and for how cool it is. I mean, look how cool my house is. This is a cool freaking house. This is quite possibly the best house I've ever made in Minecraft. I mean, it's not close. I don't build that many cool houses. But this is the best one. Oh, and my lovely wife was telling me that there's a different kind of glass now that doesn't have any borders. That would be freaking sweet. I'm gonna have to look into that. Anyway, regardless, people, like, so I wish for good things in the life of John Mulaney. I wish for good things in the lives of my students. Oh, and here's the part that makes me sad that one girl was telling me. She's very pretty and she's very nice. And, she has a boyfriend, but she identifies as bisexual. Anyway, so the same boys that are F-slurring my other students came up to her and were like, hey, your boyfriend's really lucky. And she's like, why? Why is my boyfriend lucky? And they're like, because, you're bi, right? And she's like, yeah, so lots of people are. And they're like, Neanderthal thinking. And it's like, okay, not everybody is polyamorous. Not everybody is like, let's do threesomes. Like that's not everybody's scene. And quite frankly, here's the thing that I think is ridiculous is just the over sexualization of these teenage lesbians and teenage bisexuals. Like, are some of the girls that are in these relationships just absolutely gorgeous? Yeah. I mean, some of them really legitimately are. And, as a person who has no interest there, like, except to be like, well, I hope that you have great life and I hope your life is wonderful. Like that's my only interest with these people. Is that, and I kid you not, that is 100% how it is. And I always feel so bad for them when they have like these knuckle dragging morons coming up to them all the time and being like, duh, like, can I watch? Can we do like all together in a big pile? And it's like, dude, like that, no. And even if that were a possibility, that's not how you broach the question. Like, don't be a dingus. And so that's something that like some of my students have to put up with is just, the constant hypersexualization of their sexual orientation. People see how they identify and they're like, oh, like in those naughty movies I watch. And it's like, no, dingus, that's fantasy. This is reality. And in reality, guess what? Lesbians do not want a man to join in their reindeer games. Like, that's why they are lesbians, is because they are saying no to that. And if they are bi and are not polyamorous, then guess who's not getting mad crazy threesomes? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work like that. And also, like, it's just that thing where uh people are like, you're a sexual object and I will only see you as sexual object and I will refuse to see you as person. I will refuse to grant you personhood in even the most basic degree. And it's like, oh my God, why are you this way? What did they do to you? Like, what kind of, like, what kind of toxic masculinity academy did you spring from? It's just so incredibly upsetting. But then for the ones where it's like, okay, like the one where like she's such a cool person, such a good person that I wish good things for. And like I just am so excited that she has someone who is into her and I'm like, I just want this to work out so much because like I really like the person that is into her and I really like her and I'm like, "Oh my god, if the two of you got together, that would just be freaking amazing." Like so much happiness for that, you know? Um and it's so fun to feel that way and to be that way and to have that kind of a relationship with students. Like, I've got a sweet gig. I do. And, to say nothing of the fact, like, it's funny because today is the day that a lot of my students are finding out about my upcoming suspension because I'm telling them, even though I shouldn't, but also who gives a crap? It's my suspension, so whatever. Like, um, because the principal was like, yeah, maybe don't talk about it. And I was like, well, I'm telling my honors students because it is going to interrupt some of the things that we're trying to get done in class. And they need to know the days when I'm not going to be there because they're going to get hung out to dry a little bit on days when it would be more advantageous to have me in the classroom. And my drama class needs me there as often as possible. And so they need to know which days is it going to be an all hands on deck day where I'm going to absolutely need everyone to be, helping out my assistant director as much as possible because they're just going to freaking need it. Yeah, it's a very tiny island. It's kind of pointless. It always seemed that way. And so that's why I always kind of avoided it. Except for it's got a big old cave in it. Maybe the cave leads to cool things. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I keep saying I'm going to wrap this up, but then I keep not doing it because I keep feeling like I've left something unanswered, because I started so many things where I'm like, yeah, I want to go see Big Mouth with my wife, and I want good things for John Mulaney. And speaking of wanting good things, I want good things, for this student who, doesn't normally have people being like, hey, how you doing? And now she's got someone being like that, and she's a little freaked out, to be honest. But like, I'm hoping that it's very exciting for her and very good, because everybody deserves happiness. Everybody. I'm telling you, like, there is a girl in my fourth hour who is such an asshole. Like, she is one of the worst people I've ever met. And the things that she does where she's just openly trying to piss people off. Like, she started the class by calling out something that she knew was going to make one of her fellow students feel bad. Like, she was just openly like, how can I make you feel bad for legitimately, like, no reason whatsoever? Doesn't have a dog in this fight, doesn't have a reason to be bringing up the crap she's bringing up, but just wants other people to feel miserable. And it's like such a terrible thing to do, such a terrible thing to be, and yet this is how she is. It's just how she is what she brings to the world. And yeah, like, um even her, she deserves happiness. She deserves good things in life. And she deserves to let other people have happiness and have good things in life too, and learn to, like, let other people have their happiness and let other people have their life. You know, she's got to learn. She's got to find a way. But yeah, and so, like, I uh I get to experience the things that I do, and that is the only thing that that makes my job worth it, that keeps me going, that is at all worthwhile. That and Horsey McGee here. You're my friend, Horsey McGee. Anyway, people, that's it. We're saving and quitting. We have to. Let's more polygons. At first, I thought it said more polygamous, and I was like, no, not that. Anyway, people, that is it for this one. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.